Hello and welcome to the SplitPlus App tutorial. So when the app first loads, you'll be taken to the Home tab. From here, you can enter the amount of the bill or check. So we'll put 250. Below, you have the option to add any tax. You can do this in one of three ways. You can use the stepper to increase or decrease the percentage of tax. You can type in the percentage directly on the box on the left. Or if you know the amount, you can type it in directly in the box on the right. If tax is already included, you can turn it off by pressing the switch. Below is the tip. This works in much the same way as the tax. Use the stepper to increase or decrease the percentage. Type in a percentage directly on the left, or type in an amount directly on the right. And again, if you don't want to leave a tip, you can turn it off by pressing the switch. To clear and start over, press the reset button in the top right. So by way of an example, we'll enter a bill or check of 250. We'll add tax at 5%. We'll add a tip of 15%. So the total to pay is 301.88. Now if you just want to quickly split this between the number of people in your party, you can use the quick split feature. So we'll just use the stepper to increase the number of people to 6, and that tells us that each person has 50.32 to pay in whatever currency you're using. So the quick split feature is really useful where you just want to split the bill equally between the number of people in your party and work out what each of them has to pay. But what happens where one person is paying for 2 or more people, or somebody has worked out exactly what their bill is, or somebody is paying a little bit more or less than everybody else? Well, SplitPlus can help you calculate this. So if you go to the Splits tab at the bottom of the screen, press the Add button at the top right to add people to your party. Now from this screen, you can type in the person's name. You can type in the number of people that they're going to be paying for. I'm just going to leave it at 1. And below that you have the option to enter a fixed amount, whether that amount includes tax or tip, or whether you want to add it on, and an adjustment more or less than everybody else. So in this case we're just going to put Rachel paying for 1. Then we'll add John, and we'll say John is paying for 2. And as you can see, it's automatically updating what each person has to pay in order to make up the total amount of the bill or check. So we'll add Sarah. Sarah's worked out exactly what her bill is at 48.50, but we do need to add tax and tip to that. Done and save. You can see that it's automatically worked out the tax and tip on 48.50 and recalculated everybody else's amounts as well. So we'll add Matthew. Matthew's going to pay 10 more. Perhaps he had some wine. And we'll do one more. We'll add Jane, and we'll say that Jane is paying 5 less. Perhaps she didn't have starter. So there we go. SplitPlus has calculated everybody's bill or check individually. Now once you're done, you can share this with everyone. Press the share button. It'll give you 3 options. You can share this via email, text message, or WhatsApp. A few more little features. If you want to change something after you've entered it, just tap on the person. You can change anything there. So we can change the adjustment from 5 to 6. Save it and it will recalculate. If you want to delete a person, just swipe to the left. You'll bring up the delete option and you can take them off. And if you want to clear this page, just press the trash can icon in the top left and then press clear. We'll just press cancel for now. Moving on to the settings page. Here you can select country. There is tipping information on the culture and amounts from over 70 countries around the world. Just choose the country that you want to use, press save, and it will automatically change the default tip percentage. Default tax and tip, you can set these up to whatever you want for the area that you're in. You can use the stepper, or you can go in and manually type the amount. Below that is the option to calculate tip before adding tax, which some people prefer. So if we switch that on, go back to the home page, you'll see that that is automatically updated to take into account that preference. Below we have settings for rounding. Here you can turn on rounding of the total bill. So you might want to round it up to the nearest 10. And you can also round up the individual splits. So we'll just set that to 1. So now when we go back to the home page, those changes have automatically been updated. The total to pay has now been rounded up to the nearest 10, and the splits have been rounded up to the nearest 1. These changes are also automatically reflected on the splits page, where each of these has now been updated to be rounded to the nearest 1. And finally, back to the settings tab. If you do like the app and you want to remove the small advertisements from the top of the screen, this can be done for a small one-off payment via the Purchase Remove Ads option. If you need support on using the app, please send me an email using the email support button. And likewise, if you think of a feature or an improvement that you'd like me to consider for a future release, please let me know via the feature request button. So that concludes the SplitPlus tutorial. I hope you enjoy using the app, and if you have a couple more minutes to spare, I'd really appreciate it if you could take the time to leave a review on the App Store.